Ready for season 18, buddy? 18? Seriously? I know. Ew. Big win, though. You might even say real big. Yeah, you might even say that. Like a real win in the real NHL. Oh, I knew you were gonna go there. Let's go! Do you have a humiliation kit? This is all I ask you to do. I'm having a great finger flick. You're allowed to show up. This team is ruining my life. I'm taking crazy pills. With you, wherever you are, welcome to LFR. Victory, Puppy Ziggy. Let's show everyone you remember how to do this. Let's go, old boy. Yeah, let's go. Victory, puppies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Blue Room. Welcome back home. Leafs win their first game of the season, 4-2 over Sheldon Keefe's New Jersey Devils. For all newcomers, welcome. For everyone who's been around for however many years, welcome back. This is LFR, Leafs Fan Reaction. I make a video after every single Leafs game of the season, and I've been doing this since the 2007-2008 season. I've been doing this since Matt Sundin was a Leaf. I've been doing this since 2 years before John Tavares got drafted. I've been doing this for a long time. And a win never gets old. Ever. Real quick promo and we'll get right into it. This video is brought to you by my book. I wrote a new book and it's coming out like now. October 15th is the official release date. We had the book launch yesterday. That's where the other LFR was, the last one, the first one. But I've already gotten some DMs, some intel that some people who pre-ordered the book are already getting it, which is why you pre-order the book. It was one guy who DM'd me, but he got it in stores October 15th. So what do we got? What do you hear? What do you say? Yesterday, the Leafs play their season opener against the Montreal Canadiens, and boy, was there a lot of Leafiness to it. First game of the season, first game of a new era of sorts, or at very least, new era of coaching. Craig Berube, Mark Savard, Lane Lambert. If you had a complaint about the Leafs coaching staff last year, they're all new. The head coach, new. Guy runs the power play, new. Guy runs the PK, new. Core 4, still there, except they make more. And naturally, the team opens the season. They get shut out for the first time in like 250 games or whatever it was. First time since 2021. And the goalie on the other end of the ice, Sam Montembeault, has a record 47 saves in a season opening shutout. Which goes with something that I have said many times in many ways on this channel, on the podcast, and everywhere else that'll listen to me. The Leafs can never just lose! Dude, it's gotta be historic. You lose 6-3 to Carolina on a regular Saturday, no one really cares. Unless Carolina's goalie happens to be a 42-year-old employee of yours! You know what I mean? And the anxiety after game one was already, it was already starting to creep in. Look, there's a constant battle and it happens in here. There's the rational me, the adult me, the grown-up, who's like, it's one game. They had 47 shots. They allowed fewer than 30. They're fine. They're going to be fine. Everything is fine. Except, this is the second half of a back-to-back against a very strong team in the New Jersey Devils, and what if they lose this one? Ooh, then they'd be 0-2. Then they get one day off, and then they play their third game in 4 nights, and it's against Kyle Dubas and the Pittsburgh Penguins, and what if they lose that one? Then they'd be 0-3. Not only would they be 0-3, but they'd be 0-3 with a loss to the Montreal Canadiens, and then Sheldon Keefe and the New Jersey Devils, and then Kyle Dubas and the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we might all start to panic! See, that's irrational. That's called irrational fears. That's, what are you doing? One thing I've also yelled and screamed is with the Toronto Maple Leafs, there are no irrational fears, except yes, there are. They won. And we all have a Merry Christmas. Dennis Hildeby, the Hildebeest, in his first career NHL game, standing tall because he can't help it. Physically. I'll say it for you one more time because I know you've heard it 50,000 times on every medium that'll say it. Dennis Hildeby is 6'7". He is huge. He is an SHL champion. He is a very good goalie. There was talk about Anthony Stolarz playing the back-to-back here, and there's no point. Like, okay, you're down Joseph Woll. That's bad. We don't like that. But then you're gonna play his replacement 3 games in 4 nights, and that will hopefully have no ill effects. We already know Matt Murray is recouping from an injury, a long-term surgery, and then you have this rookie who apparently you're afraid to play. But now you're playing Woll's replacement 3 games in 4 nights, and you're a tweak away from Hildeby essentially being your starting goalie. And there I go catastrophizing again! Because I can't help it, not because I'm irrational. I'm a bit irrational. I'm a little bit irrational, but I've been conditioned to be that. But what do you need? What do you need to feel better? Hildeby with a few good saves early. Ooh, Ooh, we like that. What's better than a good goalie? Nothing makes you feel better than a good goalie. Right, Devils fan? Well, not yet, but soon. He didn't look great in this one. It's a good tandem, but yeah. But what made us all feel good, and I bet made that bench feel incredible, an early goal. You get 47 shots, none of them go in. You get shut out in your first game, you got to score early, and they did. And it was a guy who wore 67, who's a former Habs captain, which is hilarious. This line was fantastic to start the game, and some really good individual performances throughout the game. Nick Robertson and Pontus Holmberg creating havoc, and with a loose puck in front, who's there? Johnny on the spot, or Max on the spot. Max Pacioretty is a Leaf! The dude scored four goals all last season as a member of the Washington Capitals. He is 2 games into his Leaf tenure, and he's already got one. He is scoring at a 41 goal pace. Can you feel the rush? That one's got to feel great for a number of reasons. It's got to feel great for that line. It's got to feel great for Max. It's got to feel great for the whole team. You love watching someone get there first. You love watching an old guy get there first, and even though he's younger than me, and that makes me very sad, you love watching an old guy get there first. And no more shutout. We've scored a goal this season. It's not impossible. We can do it. Let's go. What about the fourth line? What about the fourth line? The new look fourth line. Even though the fourth line was not bad against Montreal, if you need goals, you should probably dress all your players who can do that. And Bobby McMahon, was just sitting there in the press box yesterday. A fourth line of Steven Lorentz, David Kampf, and Bobby McMahon, I'm sorry, that's a terrible time. That's a really bad time to play against. Ryan Reeves has a spot on this team, but I don't think he's an everyday player. Listen, you want the sheriff to be in town sometimes. You want him to lay the body sometimes. It's a long season. It's 82 games. That's so many games! But as you could tell from moments after the Pacioretty goal, a lot of people still haven't caught on to the fact that Bobby McMahon is like that! He fires it on and ooh! Nope, we're gonna call that a snipe. We're gonna call it a beauty. We're gonna call it an elite shot. We are not gonna look at Jacob Markstrom like, really? Yes, it was a wrist shot that probably shouldn't have gone in. It's from a good player with a good shot. But what's the theme? What's the theme here? What is the similarity between that goal and the first goal? That's right, chaos in front! If you want trauma, you watch the Leafs. If you want catharsis, you watch my videos. If you want goals, go to the net. That is what they did, and they were rewarded with a goal. Great fourth line shift, and it wasn't the last. Let's keep going. Fourth line out there again, attacking the slot. Again, puck is just lying there. Again, and Lorentz just goes whack! Whacks it with a heck of a backhander, roofs the thing. Markstrom, little deep in his net, but who cares? It's a great goal for the Leaf fan, noted passion haver, and Stanley Cup champion Steven Lorentz. 3-0 Buds, and now they can't stop scoring. And that is how they head into first intermission. It's never how they go into intermission. You gotta learn that. I don't care who the coach is, I don't care who they sign. That is never how it works. Final minute of the first period, Leafs on the penalty kill. That would be a theme in this one. And Jesper Bratt, this is a wicked shot. And unfortunately, after a few nifty saves to start the game, that would be the first goal allowed in Dennis Hildeby's NHL career. Leafs still take a 3-1 lead into the first intermission rather, which you will take. Now, I'm already sweating. Oh boy, God, I love these. I love my job. Most days, there was 2021 and 2013. I did a video in 2013. But you know what? For the most part, it's pretty good. Now that we have a moment to breathe, first intermission, let's talk. When the Leafs went up 3-0, did part of you want Sheldon Keefe to take a Keefe timeout? I wanted him to take a timeout. But then I realized that wouldn't have been a Keefe timeout. And any Devils fans watching this, you will see a Keefe timeout this season. Do you want to know what a Keefe timeout is? A Keefe timeout is when you're up 3-0 or 3-1. Let's say 3-0 for the sake of argument. Then you allow 1 or 2 goals and you take a timeout and you don't yell, you don't scream, you just you do a lot of hand movements like this and nod your head and you just reassure everyone like little children. I'm not even making fun of Keefe for that. I'm just saying this is the sort of thing he had to do for this team over his tenure. Devils fans, I'm telling you, look it up. He must have led the league in timeouts taken while holding the lead. Second period. Things are going okay. Things are going all right. Teams are trading blows. But by later in the third period, a theme has emerged. Benoit takes a penalty. Timmins takes a penalty. That third pair keeps taking penalties, and all of a sudden the Leafs have taken 3 penalties to the Devils 1. And I guess the question I want to ask the Leafs is, are you trying to kill Lane Lambert already? Lane Lambert, head coach of the New York Islanders last year, now running the penalty kill. That dude is so animated. It's like he's on the ice with them when they're doing the penalty kill. They said that on the broadcast. The way he behaves during a Leafs penalty kill is like he's trying to kill the penalty himself, except physically. Like literally, the penalty is a real thing that he is able to take the life from. That tripping goal knows what it did, now kill it! I know it's me, and I don't say this to many people very often, but Lane, sir, chill! Luckily, John Tavares gives him a reason to chill. After 2 successful penalty kills, big moment in the game, John Tavares gets a biscuit. Just a beautiful pass from Max Domi. Oh, this line. I think this line's gonna drive us nuts. I think it's gonna drive us nuts a bit. William Nylander, John Tavares, and Max Domi. I watched early in this game and I'm like, I don't know. But this is the kind of thing they're capable of. Tavares didn't have a horrible season last year. He didn't have an $11 million one. He had 29 goals. It's not 30, but it's almost. But 29 goals on a pretty poor shooting percentage if you go look at it. I'm taking the over. He's getting 30 this year. Especially if Domi keeps giving him dimes like that. Tavares rips that thing like an old man's pants. And it's 4-1 Leafs. Max Domi, not the only assist on that one. OEL, Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He's a Leaf. It's so weird. Gets his first point as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Also, Stanley Cup champion. One scored a goal at Scotiabank Arena from center ice on Jonathan Bernier. Remember that? Remember that? I shouldn't remember that. Why do I remember that? And that is how the Leafs would head into intermission now. Yet again, the Leafs fail to close out a period strong. But this one that's just the hockey gods going low, blue and white. Simone Benoit, offensive zone, tries to fire the puck at the net, around the boards, I don't know, his stick breaks. Do you know what the odds of that are? Simone Benoit's stick never breaks doing that because the puck is never on his stick. He's got to hustle back, and he does hustle back, but it's a catastrophe back there. Timo Meier gets it with time and space on account of one of the guys back there doesn't have a stick. He rips it, and Hildeby, yeah, if he had more experience, if he just had more time in the league, I think that's a save. You like that to be a save, but there's some first game in the NHL leeway there. It's a great shot from Meier that squeaks through Hildeby, and oh no, it's 4-2 with 6 seconds. 6 seconds left in the period. And now to be a fly on the wall in that Devils dressing room. Sheldon Keefe, like, I know you guys probably don't believe me, but those guys are all dying in that room right now. And Craig Berube probably saying something really comforting, like, listen up, you idiots, I don't know how you've been doing it, but having a 2-goal lead in hockey is actually a good thing. And it's like the team went, oh, it's a good thing. Berube's like, yeah. And they're like, oh, we're going to take so many penalties. And then I'm just imagining Craig Berube standing there wondering how many members of the team he could take at once. Not before they overtook him in a fight, but before security asked him politely to stop. It's not the amount of penalties, because it was only 2, but they were dumb. And dude, there could have been more. Like, this was a night where the whole even it up calls in hockey actually worked to the Leafs' advantage. Steve, what are you talking about? The penalties were 5-2. Yeah, no. That too many men on the ice call, could have called that. Willie slapping the puck for no good reason. Why? And I'm just sitting there like, no ref in their right mind is about to give the New Jersey Devils 4 consecutive minutes of power play time unless someone is bloodied on the ice with 5 minutes to go in the game, even though they probably should. Benoit on Meier after the big hit on Nyes. Didn't need to do it. Love Benny. Love his heart. Love all that. It was a big hit. He's sticking up for his guy. You got a 2-goal lead, and the hit was fine. You're going to fight anyone. Fight Brendan Dillon for that dirty elbow on Nyes earlier. Also, Google Brendan Dillon's fighting card, and then maybe don't. And Willie grabbing at Jack Hughes in the hips. Like, you're a good enough skater. You don't need to do that. I don't know if that was William Nylander's last shift of the game, but if there was more time left, it almost for sure would have been. You know, after the Amazon documentary came out and William Nylander was telling Matthews and Marner to stop crying, people were like, you know what? That should be the captain. Like, I got a bunch of messages from people saying Willie should be the captain. I'm sorry, what he did at the end of this game? That's terrible leadership. Not just taking the penalty. You're gonna take penalties. It's the second game of the season, I guess. But the slap shot's an unforced error. And Francis Chiron, keep that in mind, Leaf fans, for when he makes a bad call later in the season against the team. He maybe owes us one. In the not good way. But hey, how about this? The penalty kill kills off both those penalties, and Dennis Hildeby does not allow a goal in the third period, with his team defending a lead the entire time. Buddy, that's a good NHL debut, especially on the road. Leafs win 4-2. Questions. Dude, number 67 scored our first goal of the season. Is this the year? Dude, don't buy into the meme. Don't buy into the meme! Every fan out of every fan base has the free space chirp, where they're just like, oh, is this the year? Are you planning the parade? Don't make it so easy on them. Just don't. Where was I? Yeah, sorry. To answer your question, yeah! Absolutely! From Justin, what needs to happen for them to actually score on the PP? Oh, the power play. Sorry. Okay, here's what I do Saturday night. You either start the second unit or split it up. Here's what's funny. I actually have way more faith in the penalty kill than the power play, despite the fact that the power play hasn't scored a goal yet through 2 games, and the penalty kill has allowed a goal in each of the first 2 games. The penalty kill has had some success, some decent success. That Cole Caulfield goal, I was like, damn, that was a really good goal. The goalies had to come up big. That's sort of their job. But there's also some different personnel out there. Hey! I didn't know Connor Timmins was like that on the penalty kill. I didn't know that. Chris Tanev? I am in love with this player. Steven Lorentz, we didn't even talk about the fact that he had a goal and he was out there for like half of the last 5 minutes of this game. Pontus Holmberg was out there a lot too, and he's on the penalty kill too. Matthew Nyes running over Dougie Hamilton like he's not well over 200 pounds. What an animal! But when it comes to the power play, at the end of last season, management goes, everything is on the table. And then they bring back the entire core 4. And we go, okay. And then they go, yeah, but what? But we're going to switch it up a little bit. Nylander's the center. And we go, okay. And then after, what was it, 4 or 5 days, they go, never mind, he's a winger. Actually, they didn't even announce it. They just sort of stopped putting him there and didn't say anything. And we went, okay. And Sheldon Keefe's like, hey, that's bit infringement. He stole my idea. But okay, the power play. What are we going to do with the power play? Okay, imagine last year's power play. There it is. That's the plan. Like, they've tried some different things. They have different configurations. Matthews all over the ice, a little bit behind the net. But it's the same 5 dudes. Oliver Ekman-Larsson was first unit power play in the Stanley Cup final for the team that won. You don't have to do that. You don't have to stick with the same 5. And I'm not even looking at it like, oh, Tavares stinks, you gotta take him off. Or Matthews and Marner, they've been so cold to start the season like it's 2 games. Dude, try something, anything. Holy cow. Yeah, but they have a new coach. It's Marc Savard. It's nothing to do with Marc Savard or a lack of faith in him. This group of 5 dudes has had many people walk in through the door and out through the door running the power play. Babcock was the head coach. Keefe was the head coach. Berube was the head coach. Spencer Carberry ran the power play for a little bit. McFarland, was it John McFarland? McFarland, the dude from Kingston. He ran the power play for a little bit. Manny Malhotra ran the power play for a little bit. Am I forgetting anyone? And what happens? They dry up in the spring. And you might be like, Steve, you could just say the playoffs. No, I mean literally the spring. Like, it's a date in March. You can pinpoint it every year and it dies. You're not going to change up the core 4. Fine. Willie's still playing the wing. Fine. Change up the first unit. Please. Give us that. Just one thing. I'll stop bugging you. I promise. And lastly, look at this. Look at this from Holly. I need your approval of the stained glass nails, Steve. And it's all like, it's like church stained glass, blue, but it's got like Carlton the Bear, and I believe that's the Stanley Cup on the pointer finger and the Leaf logo. And is that like a wooden doll? Oh, it's Matthews. He's got the C in the mustache. I'm not clever. And Oreos! That's clever as hell! Also, as a fellow tattoo haver, that palm tattoo must have killed. So do I approve? Yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing you could do. That's crazy. You're crazy. That's good. Folks, I am sweating. I'm still half exhausted from the book launch yesterday, so I'm going to wrap it up. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. I got a book coming out. I got a fundraiser to promote for Easter Seals. That's a link in the description down below as well. And brand new Steve Dangle podcast on SDPN tomorrow.